Your breakup, your career change, your mental health crisis. They're not random suffering. They are following a pattern that's been recognized across cultures for thousands and thousands of years. It's called the hero's journey. And understanding it might be exactly what you need to make sense of the transformation you're going through right now. Okay, welcome back to Huddle Psychology, where we get uncomfortably real about stuff that is going on in your head. I'm Rahul Nair, and we're here to decode the psychology behind why we do the weird things we do. All right, let's set this up. Joseph Campbell studied myths from all around the world, and he discovered something quite remarkable. The same basic story patterns appears everywhere. A hero leaves his or her ordinary world, faces trials and tribulations, experiences transformation, and then returns back as a changed person. He called this the monomyth or the hero's journey. But here's what most people miss about this point. This isn't just about mythologies, stories, and Hollywood movies. The hero's journey is a psychological pattern that describes how we humans actually experience transformation. Your personal growth follows this arc, whether you recognize it or not. Understanding where you are on this journey can help you make sense of suffering that otherwise might feel rather meaningless. It can help you recognize that difficult middle part. That difficult middle part is not failure, it's a necessary part of the transformation. And it can help you understand you're not broken, you're simply mid journey. So let's get into the hero's journey in a little bit more detail. Let's break this down a little bit and explore what it looks like in everyday life. Let's begin with the ordinary world. This is your status quo before transformation. Life might be comfortable yet unsatisfying, stable but maybe inauthentic. You're living according to perhaps somebody else's expectations or your own outdated identity. The second step is the call to adventure. Something disrupts your ordinary world. This might be a crisis, a breakup, job loss, some kind of a health scare, maybe a realization, I'm not happy, this is not working for me. Or maybe an opportunity, a new relationship, or a new career possibility. Many people refuse the call initially because, as always, change is obviously scary. The third stage is crossing the threshold. This is where you commit to the journey. You leave that relationship. You quit that job. You start therapy, which you have been thinking about for a long time, and make a significant life change. You step into that unknown territory for the first time where old rules do not apply. That is stage 3, called crossing the threshold. Then comes number 4, the road of trials. This is the messy middle part where you face challenges that test and transform you in many ways. You encounter failure, doubt, and setbacks. This is where most people start to think that they have made a mistake. They've made a mistake because transformation is uncomfortable and it takes time. But this stage is absolutely necessary. You're being broken down so that you can rebuild differently. Stage 5, the abyss, or death and rebirth. This is where you face your deepest fear or most profound challenge. Psychologically, this is ego death. The old version of yourself dies to make room for the new you. This often feels like hitting rock bottom. And it usually really feels like that. But it's actually the beginning of the turning point. Sixth is transformation and revelation. You emerge from the abyss as a new and changed person. You've gained new understanding, you've developed new capabilities, or discovered something more essential about yourself, something you did not know till now. The trials were not pointless, they were mechanisms for transformation. They were mechanisms of transformation. 7 is about the return. You bring your new wisdom back to your ordinary life. But you're different now. So your relationship with ordinary life changes significantly. You can't go back to who you were, and nor should you try to go back to who you were. And then finally is integration. You learn to live as your transformed self in the real world. This is about making your growth more sustainable and absolutely practical, not just having some kind of a peak experience and then leaving it there. The psychology behind why this matters, these 8 stages, is that transformation isn't linear or comfortable. If you're in the trials phase and everything feels hard, that doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're mid-journey, which is supposed to be difficult. So let's get into the practicalities of the hero's journey. How do you use the hero's journey framework in your actual life? Here are 3 applications. Number 1, identify your current stage. Wherever you are in the journey, where are you in the journey? That's the question to ask first. Are you refusing a call to change? In the middle of trials? Are you at the transformation point? Recognizing your stage helps you understand what's appropriate for this particular stage. If you're in trials, then you should stop expecting to feel confident and accomplished. That comes after transformation. If you're at threshold, then stop trying to keep one foot in the ordinary world and one foot somewhere else. Commit to the journey. So that is one stage, one strategy, which is identify your current stage. And that understanding will help you recognize which stage you're in and what's appropriate for you to feel in that stage. Secondly, reframe suffering as transformation. When you're struggling, ask, what is this trial teaching me? What old version of myself is dying here? What new capability am I developing? This doesn't eliminate pain, but it creates meaning around pain. The difference between meaningless suffering and transformative struggle is often just the story you tell yourself about it. And number 3 is honor the whole cycle, the full cycle. Don't try to skip stages. You can't go from the ordinary world to return without trials in between. You can't force transformation before you've done the hard work of trials. And you can't skip integration by staying in the peak experience of revelation. Each stage serves its own purpose. So, those were 3 ways we can apply the hero's journey framework in real life. But here's something I really want to share with you. Not all life's challenges or changes are hero's journeys. Not all of life's changes are hero's journeys. Sometimes you're just going through difficulty, not necessarily a transformation. The distinction is whether you're emerging as a fundamentally different person or just dealing with circumstances. So it's an important thing to keep in mind. Not every challenge and not every life change is a hero's journey. Sometimes you're simply going through a difficulty and not necessarily a transformation. Also, you can be on multiple heroes' journeys at the same time in different life domains. So, for example, you might be mid transformation in your career, while at the same time, you might be in the ordinary world when it comes to relationships. Each journey will have its own arc. You can have multiple journeys at the same time in different domains, and each of them will have their own arcs. And finally, the return phase is underrated, but it is absolutely crucial. After the transformation, you need to integrate your new self into your actual life. This means bringing your insights into relationships, work, and your daily routines. Without integration, peak experiences become spiritual bypassing. You had a profound realization of some sort, but nothing really changed. So that is Hero's Journey, and here's your homework for the coming week. Map your current or recent significant life change onto the Hero's Journey structure. Where are you in the arc? What trials are you facing? What old version of yourself is dying? What's trying to be born? These are some questions I invite you to explore. If you're in the messy middle, remember, remind yourself this is the trial phase, which is supposed to be difficult. You're not failing the journey, you're in the part where transformation actually happens. Okay, so that was about Hero's Journey. Next week, we will be exploring cognitive dissonance, the idea of cognitive dissonance and how that affects our mind. Why smart people believe contradictory things, and why intellectual humility might be the most underrated psychological skill you can develop. So that's next week. Coming back to today's topic, drop a comment. Can you identify a hero's journey in your own life? Where are you in the arc? Let's try and normalize the transformation that is usually messy and nonlinear. And as always, please visit our blog huddlepsychology.substack.com, which has a lot of articles about the topics that we talk about in our YouTube video channel. If you'd like to talk about any of these topics on a one-to-one basis, reach out to me on rahul@huddlepsychology.com. And before I leave you, I invite you to check out my very first book, Already Home, Advaita Vedanta for Everyday Living. It is available in Kindle version across all Amazon marketplaces and also in paperback edition in the UK and US marketplaces. So please check it out, and if of interest, do give it a read. I'd be grateful for your support. Okay, so that is it for this week. Until next time, keep huddling, keep growing. Ciao for now.